What's up, y'all? Welcome to Big Aang Collects. My name is Nathan, and I'm here to show off a little bit of my collecting and my collection. So throughout these videos, I'll show you everything from what I'm buying to what I already have in my collection. So it'll be anything from toys, records, tapes, comics, any merchandise. So because this is my first video, it's going to be a pretty massive haul. I'm not going to lie to you. We're going through a lot over stuff that I've acquired over the past month and a half to 2 months or so. We're going to start out with some toys. First up, we have the robot spirits from Tamashii Arrows and Bandai. I've decided to get into the Evangelion series. If you haven't checked these out, they're amazing. It's the same family as the SH Figure Arts, so if you're familiar with those, you really enjoy these. I decided to start an anime collection not too long ago, and I started out with the Cowboy Bebop SH Figure Arts, and I was so impressed by those that I decided to give these a try. Now here we have Unit 1. If you can see the side of the box, we got that over here. Now, Evangelion is having a huge resurgence since it's been on Netflix, and with the Funimation dubs of the movies. So, if you're a fan, I would highly suggest getting these. I also got Unit 0, and this is so huge. It's the box, as you can see, significantly longer. There are tons of interchangeable hands and weapons, all included with these. Some may have stands in them. If they don't, there is an option on Amazon actually that I've gotten some stands that will fit SH Figure Arts really well. So look for those. I have a shelf right back there that I will be extending my collection on, so you'll probably see these hanging up there pretty soon. Next up, we have something that has been causing a craze lately, especially in stores, because there is a Target exclusive line of these that is almost impossible to find. Of course, we are talking about G.I. Joes. Now, I went on a pretty manic spree of trying to find these after seeing a lot of them on one of my trips and deciding not to pick them up. I realized that was a huge mistake after I left, and it was hard for me to find them as readily available as when I saw them out there. But I have found a lot of them. So first up, we have from Wave 1, Duke. Now this figure looks great. I'm a huge fan of the reinterpretations of the way they did these characters. I grew up with the cartoon. I grew up having some of the old figures and some of the old vehicles as well, but I really enjoy the way that Hasbro has kind of reformatted the look of all of these characters. Continuing on, we have Roadblock. Now, unfortunately, Roadblock is kind of a peg warmer in a lot of stores, which is a shame because, again, He looks great. The gun, I'm not a super huge fan of, but I can make it work. I think they just overpacked him in a lot of the cases, so they're kind of sitting there, which is really unfortunate because he is a great character. We also have the Snake Eyes. Now, I love this figure. It's great. The history behind Snake Eyes is great. I actually have also pre-ordered the re-release of the original Snake Eyes, the 00, during PulseCon a couple of weeks ago, so I'm really looking forward to getting that in. I'm glad I'm not having to pay second party or secondary market prices for that. I am mostly a loose collector, so all of these will be coming out. I think that Snake Eyes, the original 00, will be staying in just because of how beautiful the packaging is, and just because of everything that comes with it. I don't really feel the need to have two Snake Eyes on display, so I think having that one in the box will look better anyways because of everything that comes with it. And the last one from Wave 1 that I have right now is Scarlet. Again, kind of a peg warmer, which is unfortunate because the sculpt on this looks great. The crossbow is an amazing touch with all the knives as well. You can find some of these in GameStops still, which is where I found all of these actually. They might have a sale. They actually had a sale going on when I found these. They were on sale for $17.99. I'm not quite sure if that sale's still going on, but if you're having trouble finding any of Series 1 in Walmarts or Targets, and you don't want to order one on Hasbro Pulse, you can still find these in GameStops. They're a little bit more expensive, but it'll also save you a little bit of trouble driving around, spending gas money, and things of that nature. Anyways, so Wave 2, which I've also found. Like I said, I went on a pretty wild hunt trying to find these, and was driving around everywhere. I was stopping by Walmarts, stopping by Targets, GameStops, but I found these at Walgreens. I've got the Red Ninja. Now, do I want to army build with these? Maybe. I don't know. It's something to think about. But if I did that, I feel like I would have to army build with the troopers, which are extremely hard to come by. I did see one in stores over a month ago before I started getting into the line, and I'm kicking myself every day for not picking it up when I saw it, because now they're going for $100+ on eBay, which is extremely unfortunate because of what it is. It's an army builder, and wanting to army build with $100 figures can get a little tiresome and very expensive. Next up from the line, we have Gung Ho. Now, I have seen these in a couple of Targets and Walmarts since I found them in Walgreens, even though they are street dated for November in Target for some reason, even though Hasbro has come out and said that they've updated it, and even some of the Target social media and things of that sort have said to move up the date. Some stores are still not abided. It is what it is. It's a great figure. Gung Ho looks great. Last up, Cobra Commander. Got a Coco. Now, unfortunately, it's not the variant with the Regal with all the gold. If I find that, that would be great. If not, no big deal. It's not gonna make or break me in my collection with this. I missed that whenever they had them on the Pulse website. It is what it is. Um, Series 2. Now, the very elusive Cobra Island set, like I mentioned earlier, it is a Target exclusive. They are and were pretty impossible to come by. Like I mentioned earlier, I saw the Cobra Trooper one time, didn't pick it up. Now that I've gone on this search, I have been very diligent about trying to find everything that I can. Now, Roadblock, Cobra Island, amazing. I love the way this looks. It reminds me a lot of Space Marine type, like you would see from the Alien franchise, which I think is a cool kind of crossover, even though it's not. But the way it looks, it just kind of reminds me of that, and that he could just be fighting right alongside Ripley. Now, the second hardest thing probably to come by from the Cobra Island series, I stalked Pop Finder and Brickseek, and I was very on this with the DPCIs. I did see that some stores had them restocked, and I called them. They said they couldn't find them, and I was a little frustrated by that, obviously, because when it says something's in stock and it's not, it's a little bit of a bummer. But I continued on with that, and I continued to search that DPCI, and a store that said that it was in stock the day before but couldn't find it, I kept looking and looking overnight, and they still had them in stock. So I woke up very early the next day. I stood in line for an hour because Target was one of their mandatory days to have the sick and the elderly and the pregnant people be able to shop for an hour by themselves without any risk or lower risk. No problem. I stood out there, waited, walked directly to the toy section, and lo and behold, Baroness with the coil. I am so excited for this. I'm usually not a huge vehicle guy, but I think just the way this looks and the way it can be posed with Baroness and all the guns, it's going to look great on that shelf behind me, along with the rest of the Cobras that I have, and also maybe fighting some of the Joes. Anyway, this is just amazing. The artwork, I didn't mention earlier, the artwork on these boxes is just great. Everyone that they get to do all of this work should be commended very highly. It's making it hard for me to want to take these out of the boxes just because they do look so good. But I will. Next up, something I never thought that I would get. I am not really a huge gamer. I did grow up with comics, and I do like a lot of the stuff that Mcfarlane is doing. So, while I was at GameStop getting some of those G.I. Joes, I saw this Mortal Kombat Spawn with the mace. There are a couple other versions out there with different weapons. I really liked this. The mace looks great. Obviously, because he is a Todd McFarlane creation, all the Spawn figures are going to look just spectacular. He is pretty heavy as well. Spawn is someone that I grew up with, reading the comics, watching the movies, watching the animated series. So I was really excited to pick this one up. And speaking of more comics, I've really fallen out with superhero comics over the years. I do still watch superhero shows, movies, and things of that nature, but I just haven't read a lot of the comics, to be honest, over the past few years. I've been more interested in I don't know, sometimes horror comics, sometimes just like weird life things. So from Image Comics, I discovered this line a few years back, and I got the first 3 trades back then. I didn't keep up with it as much until very recently, but Sex Criminals, volumes 4 and 5, to finish out the trades that are out at the moment. These look sick. If you haven't read this book, I would highly suggest it. The first 3 that I read were amazing. It's about a couple of people that find out they can stop time by having sex together, and start robbing banks and things of that nature. More hijinks ensue. They find out there's more of them. Spoiler alert. But to continue this line, I'm excited to find out what eventually happens all the way through. Now, last but not least for this video, to finish part 1 of my massive first video haul, we have Marvel Legends. Now, like I said earlier, it's been a long time since I've been into the superhero game. This was something that I'd kind of been putting off. I've seen them around for the past few years. My main action figure collection has rotated basically around pro wrestling, and I didn't want to really get into anything else because there's so much to get into as far as wrestling goes. But I gave in. I was walking around Walgreens one night looking for wrestling figures, and I came across this Moon Knight. Now, Moon Knight, again, like Spawn, another character I grew up loving. I really enjoyed where they took his story, his character arc. The multiple personalities really set him apart from being the Marvel's Batman, showing that kind of emotional range and kind of bringing to light, other issues and bringing it kind of to the forefront, and just having Mark Spector go through those difficulties. I can't say I have had the same issues, but I like a lot of other people, do have a lot of mental health issues. So it was something to see that represented on a wider range in comic books. I already do have one of these loose behind me. I did get a second one because of the second head sculpt, which I thought would be really cool to just have both of them out. One in the all white, one with the black face or the black mask head sculpt. So they'll be right next to each other. All the weapons are great. The bow staff. I'm not really sure what to do with all of the small ones right here. I have the ones from the original that I bought in a little baggie. They can't fit in his hand. There's nowhere to put them on his body. It's kind of a hassle, but all the accessories do make it kind of worth it for 20 bucks. Continuing with the Marvel Legends, I was kicking the tires on these as well. Again, because I didn't want to get too far into the comic world and the Marvel Legends world. But I saw these, I thought about them for a long time, and then they went on clearance at Target. So they're originally $20, they were on sale for $13 and some change. The Age of Apocalypse series. I'm going to go through these pretty quick. I'm sure you've all seen them hanging on your pegs at Target. You know what they look like. You know what they are. So we've got X-Man. Now this is the Sugarman Build-A-Figure line, which also put me over the edge with this because they were on clearance and so cheap. Getting the 7 figures in this Build-A-Figure line, plus getting the Sugar Man 8 figures for essentially 80 something, maybe $90, $10 a figure. Count me in. So we've got X-Man, we've got Wild Child, we've got Weapon X, the huge peg warmer of this series. Unfortunate, does look kind of weird, I guess. Not a huge fan of Logan's face sculpt on this, but it is kind of true to the line of comics. The Age of Apocalypse line is another one that I loved growing up. So that was another reason why I decided to pick this line up. Now I got the Dark Beast, Sunfire, Jean Grey, which was probably the hardest one to come by out of the whole set, and Morph. So I found all 7 of these at Target. They were on clearance, like I said. And then, what did they not have? The end of the line, or the end of this series, that I could not find in stores, but I found online for very, very, very cheap. Apocalypse. Now this figure is out of control. The sculpt on this, both head sculpts, the accessories that come with it, this human skull with all the detailing that's in it. I'm excited to own this. I'm excited to own all of these, and I cannot wait to put an Age of Apocalypse set together on the shelf. So that is going to be the end of part 1 of my first massive haul. Stay tuned. In the next couple days, maybe tomorrow, we will be putting up part 2. That's going to include a lot of other cool things that I've come across over the past couple months. So, from me, Big Ain, to you, have a good day, keep hunting, stay healthy.